Hi guys, welcome to Occultists Anonymous, sponsored by Roll20, The Onyx Path, during OnyxCon 2021. Hey guys, I hope you guys have been having a good con so far. If you're watching this on YouTube, A, you missed the con, but B, there is probably a lot of stuff floating around on Twitch VODs and YouTube for you to like devour. This channel alone on Twitch is going to be hosting 7 different games across basically a bunch of different dark eras.
Including ours?
Including ours. Yeah, There's Vorpal Tales just got done with their Contagion Chronicles. There's this one, then we've got, well, we went over them all last week, so YouTube guys probably remember anyways. But yeah, whole bunch of stuff. It's pretty great. And chat is here and loud and chatting, which I love to see. Right. Oh, right. And viewers like you. Thank you very much to our patrons who support us monetarily. We greatly appreciate it. I'm totally not stalling when I pull up the list. Thank you all very much for supporting us. It really is cool. Just to give you an idea, like, to be, like, fully transparent, because you guys are giving the money, so I want you to know where it goes. We all get basically a portion of the funds just to go into our own pockets, to go buy coffee and candy and soda and other wasteful things because it's fun money. But then we have rest of the funds that can go to making character art, like this awesome stuff from Brenna. And then if anybody's noticed a little bit of desync in Ralph's camera, we're getting that figured out. And if there's technology that's required, we'll just pay for it, and Ralph doesn't have to because it's for the show. That's the kind of stuff that you guys, your support helps us do, which really helps.
You're also generous.
It's
so great.
It's so cool. It's so nice, and it does make doing this kind of stuff easy, which we greatly appreciate. Thank you very much. Thank you to Adele, Al, Alan, Michael, Alexander, Angfaleth, Bernie, Blood Angel, Brandon, Chris, Daniel, Doc the Undead, Delore, Emil, Funzusu Ali, George, Jack, Jenny, John, Josh, Julian, Catfeathers, Crazy Man 1772, Melissa, Michael, Milo V3, Moku, Neomegas, Noba, No Pixel Stream When. All right, listen. Thank you, Camo, eventually. Parker, Harry, Pride, all caps. Puppeteer, Riafia, Ryan, Shaksara, Cinna, Terran, The Arcane, Thomas, Toast, Ufsif Sama, Vortex, Woodsalm, and Zoltan, thank you all very much for your support. It means a lot to us. It really does. It's very cool. And as I close a bunch of tabs that I don't need open. Cool. That's what I'm missing. Conca, which, by the way, our Conca is available and viewable by everybody.
Public.
So, come by, follow along. If any of you happen to be here from Onyx PathCon and are watching on Twitch and you're trying to figure out who these characters are and who we're talking about, I posted it in the chat. Go to Conca and Google not Google, Conca up people and names and stuff like that as we go. I think that's basically it. So, picking up where we last left off, there is a big honkin' thunderstorm rolling through the village, the town of Purgatory Bluff. Not really egged on by, but it's a little personal now as it rains down on Gisela and Isabel as they basically probably not rush home because it is definitely a bit towards the evening time, and you are in a thunderstorm in a prairie. Please don't break the poor horse's legs kind of scenario. And I imagine because of where you guys are up, higher up on the ridge, out on the I don't know, western prairie, whatever, away from the town, but probably closer to Enright's place, and that's also where Isabel leaves her horse. That's probably your guys' first direction. And so, making your way through Enright's place, which is it's not fenced off so much as there's a area around it that is, I wouldn't say cultivated, kind of cared after. Some of the shrubs are kind of cut down. It's not, it's no like, French palace or something like that, but it's definitely got this like area that is Enright's place versus the just growth around town, and kind of make a beeline back towards the stables so you can find someplace dry, because neither of you have any magic neither of you have any magic to deal with rain pelting you, and also you guys just saw a giant lightning spirit of
Still can.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. And lesser spirits tagging along too, I would suspect. But Alfoth, who I thought about giving a crazy cool name, but we'll
That's
get to
a good
that
name.
later. Yeah. Well, no, I meant like the titles
Like
that
a title,
follow after.
yeah.
Yeah. Daenerys Targaryen, blah 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 blah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was thinking about one for each rank, but then I realized, why would I do that to myself?
That's a lot of work.
That's a
That
lot of
sounds
work.
like something I would
That's
do
what you-
for
Every
like
rank
40
once.
spirits ahead of time. And then you wouldn't meet any of them.
Right. Yep.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So yes, we pick up with you guys rushing into the stables at this point later in the evening. Any of the stable hands and stuff like that have probably found bunks in the barracks and stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, so Isabel like is taking care of the horse, right? Like
Brushing
taking
down
its saddle
everything.
off, brushing it down, drying it off, getting it fed, like, and probably offering to do that for Gisela's horse as well.
I mean, mine's got to go home.
Fair.
That's a good point.
I'm trying to think of how Isabel would go about this, because she is very much just had not quite a revelation, but like that was some shit.
You just basically talk to a god.
Yeah, more or less.
And accepted yourself into its service.
Right. So I don't think these are your father's tormentors.
No. You a lightning priest?
Like, look down at Gammon.
Wait,
Am I?
hang on, that's not the name.
Ganem.
Ganem.
Ganem. Sorry. Gammon.
It's okay.
Ganem.
Yeah, it was like, let me scroll back up and make sure.
Yeah, Ganem.
There is a, kind of, it's hard to read a shrug from this vine wreathing, kind of motion, but yeah, it's definitely kind of a shrug. And you both kind of left the deal open and vague, and apparently I'm somehow supposed to teach you about this, of course with more melodic sound to Ganem's voice. So no, that's going to be the two of us figuring this out, because I'm a flute. And basically, I'm not exactly sure, and we barely speak the same language. We definitely don't eat the same food. I have no idea what Alfoth is actually expecting of you, but I can give you ideas of how you could worship me, and you could do the same thing for Alfoth. It's just,
If you think that's what's best.
I'm spitballing here. Is that a term back in 1846? It is now.
It is now.
I'm just kind of putting two things. Like, do you understand how quickly he could squish me?
Yes.
Like, I really
I
do
have
want to give you a
ideas,
good
at
idea, but yeah, I'm trying to figure it out. So, but we can work some things out. I mean, having essence, that's if you can figure that out, that's a good way to do it. I've never met anybody. I've never met a priest. I'm kind of new, and again points over to the flute, and I'm new to this. Some stuff I've kind of picked up, but I'm gonna learn alongside you, I guess.
Well, that'll be a project for us, I guess.
Sure.
Good luck.
We need it.
Yeah, we do.
They say to the fake mage.
There's this very like bowled over sort of like lack of confidence that Isabel has in the scene. Like, it is a distinctly different sort of person that you are communicating with from like earlier in the afternoon.
Yeah. And I'm just kind of...
So... perhaps this is the lowest you'll find my guard. For now. But if we are to all work together, study together, whatever the four of us are, knowing more about the differences of our blessings might be important. So, Gisela Bauer, will you tell me a tale of what you've been through?
I don't know if I want to do that. I can tell you more about what I can see.
Sure.
It's all of this. It's not like that at all. There are no rocks and trees and lightning creatures. It's like being able to see.
And I'll probably let the spell fade.
Yeah. Let me see with my real eyes. This is comforting and good, and I like this better because it's one thing to know that that's all there, which is terrifying, but now I can't see them. It's fine. It's fine.
It is the world as it is, awake and alive and beautiful. Why would you find that terrifying?
I don't like the idea that if I pick a flower, I've killed a flower spirit.
You have not.
Or that the lightning is alive.
I will admit to that being rather intense.
Yes.
But this is nothing.
You mean the world without your spirit eyes?
No, I mean compared to what would she call it? I'm trying to think what Isabel would call her awakening.
I mean, it may be one of those things where you throw out, the word in high speech.
Just the high speech word for it, yeah.
Yeah. Which probably ends up being awakening. But
right.
Yeah.
When I went through that, I mean, how can anything ever scare me again? Is how I am led to feel, like crawling through the wastes and the desert and nearly succumbing of thirst and hunger, seeing carrion feeders circling overhead. There is a very real danger to the world that is reflected here, but is not fully present. As I imagine that whatever it is that you went through, you must feel the same way, at least partially.
I don't know about having no fear. They could still kill you. I like being alive.
Oh, I mean, I'm
Like,
quite fond
I
of it
certainly
too.
am still afraid of many things. But yeah, what I see are Occultists. He sees chains holding people down.
Mhm.
I see threads pulling them along. There are paths, and there are others on the side that can pull you one way or another. And you can sort of see where they go if you try. The
Mhm.
further they are, the harder it is.
More
Because they're-
unraveled of a thread,
Yeah.
I feel like.
Because there are many things between now and there that could pull you one way or another. But everything is interwoven.
A little aside for both of you. What do you guys think of these supernal beings that you see when you turn on mage sight? Because like the spirits are one thing,
Mhm.
but you have seen infrequently, but the various supernal beings, totems and beasts, anachronisms and moire.
Definitely thinking of them as like the keepers. They're the ones who keep everything on track. That might not be what they actually do, but that's what she's assuming they do.
It's just that word
Loki,
has a
yeah.
context as well. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Also Loki. Yeah.
seeing these things that are here that appear to be gods.
They sure act that way.
The assumption is that they are the ones who unravel the threads and can pull you in certain directions and help keep the tapestry nicely woven.
Well,
It's like, do you know what I did with the cards?
well, I don't know what you did. I know that you did it.
It's reading the future.
Sure. I mean, you can do magic. That's sort of one of the
Classics.
things that, yeah, it's one of the classics, I guess,
mean-
is more or less what she'd say.
Can you do it?
No, but I have to imagine that
Some people can, yeah.
the stories come from something real.
Mhm.
Now that we know that
This is real.
we're not the only one.
Yeah.
That I'm not the only one. That I'm not going crazy.
Yeah.
That I'm not being, well, I guess I don't know that I'm not being tested, but in the width and breadth of human existence, I imagine there are more than just the four of us.
Admittedly, you all have seen the watchtowers with all
We
sorts
know
of
there
other
are.
names on.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, so
So, then, why the four of us? And what are we to make of it?
that I don't know, but I am hoping to figure it out. I'm hoping that if I keep pulling and prodding at the threads, I can find the one that will take me where we're meant to go. And I might be able to help you with the lightning spirit. I don't know what it wants either, but I can let you know what your next step should be.
Much as I gripe about the Acanthus, Serendipity is the best spell.
It's really good, yeah.
What do we do next?
What do we do? Well, I don't know, but
It's like super common
we should
sense.
do this. Yeah. Don't know why, but I really like start there. So I'm going to do that. Let me find it.
Oh, you rode alongside me as I sort of challenged the world a little bit.
Mhm.
So, of the three of you, I'm certainly likely to continue to work alongside you.
I'm willing to see what everyone else can offer, I guess.
Sure.
See where
I'm
we
not-
can go, what we can do.
I'm not close-minded. I just think that you are perhaps, well, don't take this the wrong way, but perhaps the most easy to read.
Sure. Okay, looking at this, does it only apply to the mage?
That is poor
Or
writing.
can you cast it
and
on
Chewy.
someone else? Yeah.
Right, you can totally cast it on somebody else.
Okay.
Yeah. Technically,
I'll-
the subject knows.
Yeah.
And of course, if we don't have the rote, we'd be using creative thaumaturgy, so we wouldn't be subject
Yeah.
to the restrictions of the description in the rote.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to go for the one that gives you the skill bonus. I'm just going to give you an omen.
Mhm.
So, do you need duration? It's just a thing that you know right now, right?
Yes, I'm 90% sure.
Yeah, the duration would apply to
Yeah,
if you
just,
are
like, you
buffing
just
the
get-
skill rolls.
Just get a knowledge.
Okay. I think I only need the one reach then.
Yep. For instant, walk over and touch
And touch
Isabel. Yep.
for Yantra.
Here's a fun one.
Mhm.
You're casting on Isabel, so pluck a hair.
I had a I had a pendulum as
A
a
what?
trying to a pendulum as a
Oh,
trying to know which way to go.
Mhm.
Yantra. That was my go-to for that one. See
Sure.
which way it will pull you.
Yeah, be a +1.
I mean, you have 2 yantras if you want.
Yeah, if you want to take the one whopping extra, or that 3 extra seconds for a
Yeah.
second one.
I like that. Pull a hair.
Yeah, especially since I just like kind of cast some shade, you just like yank a hair out real
Yeah.
fast. That's
Need
good.
this.
3, 4, 5. 2 successes.
There you go.
So
Technically would have been 6. Because the material
sacrament.
yantra, a piece of Isabel, is actually +2. So,
oh, okay.
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Regardless, you got the successes. Now, here's the question.
Mhm.
Because you're the one casting, hang on, pull up the spell, just use that as our the stated objective is.
Mhm.
So what
Desired
stated
destination.
objective does Isabel get? Because you could, it's you're the one casting, so you're giving Isabel this glimpse.
I'm doing what I said I would. Trying to get you the first step on the path towards whatever Alphoth wants.
Okay, yeah, that's what I figured, but it was a moment of,
Like, I could screw with you and give you an actual different omen, but
Right.
I'm not.
Well, and it's also it's filtered through your perception of what
Mhm.
you
Mhm.
think I want and what you think came of the situation and stuff like that.
Yep.
So.
So in this particular case, Isabel, you have this vision, I think, of I think you see Ganem sitting at a table and tucking in a napkin and holding fork and knife. For us, this would be comical and cartoonish, and we recognize it. And though comics actually existed back then in the cartoonish kind of little stylized
Mhm.
drawings and all that, but and sitting down with a big steak on a plate, and then it's gone.
So do I see this, or does Isabel?
Just me,
Okay.
unless you included yourself.
Yeah,
Right.
no.
And in my head, especially with Isabel having no fate
Mhm.
connotations or anything, this is probably like a passing little image in your mind, and then it's gone of wait, what the hell was that?
Feed him steak.
Intrusive thoughts. So yeah,
Cool.
that's whatever you got from that. Step 1 towards sky
I'll
powers.
do my
I don't know.
best with that.
No one said it was precise.
It's just
Yeah, no, I get that.
acanthus, the opposite of precise. We'll get there eventually, somehow, in whatever way we are supposed to.
When the time is right. Yeah. Right now, my main concern is fixing whatever is wrong with my family.
Mhm.
Because it's something. I can see something.
And if
Beyond-
there's any way that I can help, feel free to ask.
we can look into it together. Beyond that, I really want to know. There's something else around that's weird and wrong. And we haven't found it. And I don't know where to start looking for it. Well, I can find out, I suppose. And then whatever the fancy people are doing with the telescopes.
Question, do you say the Royal Society or the fancy people with the
The
hand
fancy
wave?
people.
All right. I'm intrigued.
I do know the first step is figuring that out. It is get close to Mortimer. Get him to teach, show. So, working on it.
Cool. We should take a look at sort of the storm,
It is
hopefully
not letting
fading by
up.
this point. No, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, I'm just gonna sort of make a run for it.
Slip
I
and
suppose my
slide.
horse can stay here overnight.
yeah.
We can come get him in the morning.
Yep.
or when this is over.
Yeah, you might have to argue with some stable hands about whether or not it's actually your horse, but...
Right.
Okay.
Cool. You guys head to your various homes, because, I mean, Isabel has to head into town, too. Is Isabel heading into town?
I think she falls asleep next to her horse.
Oh.
It's not a bad one.
It's warm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Warm, cozy, and stuff like that. Cool. In that case, jumping over real quick to Cloak and Theo, who had been in the cave.
Yes, indeed.
Where you guys... was there any last little thoughts? Because when we last left, Cloak had stepped out of the dreams, and Theo was kind of just in them.
Alone in your own head, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So does anything happen after Cloak leaves?
Yeah, your dreams kind of step back into normal kind of progress and just flowing thoughts, and the nature of dreams naturally just this flowing into this thing. And for the first time in Theo's life, she's awake for these. She's still meditating, can still feel herself breathing, and like is semi-aware of the cave, the mine, probably Cloak moving. But
Cloak sitting there, not to disturb her.
Cool. And but it's just dreams. And again, this isn't the Oneros, so a lot of that stuff isn't accessible. But it is a shifting landscape of dreams that you have fairly active control, or can attempt control over.
So, Luke talked about that there was an entity here. And I saw stuff happen that I didn't make happen, and he didn't make happen. So I'm going to call out hello.
Cool. And you find yourself standing in front of the Bower house. Like your hand coming down, you don't quite remember when you knocked. Sound of like footsteps inside.
I'll knock on the door.
Yep. And door opens, and it's Gisela. And Gisela, Ash, if you want to take over playing as Dream Gisela, feel free. You have a little bit of, kind of narrative license here.
I don't know what we're doing here.
Whatever, it's a dream.
Hello, Theo.
Hi. And Theo's like looking around. What are you doing here?
This is my house. Would you like to come in?
Sure. This is not what I was expecting.
As you are walking into the house, this is not the inside of Gisela's house. You step inside, and you're in the general store. And Anastasio is kind of moving about, and Theo, hello.
Hi.
Without dragging this out too much, like it's just this, not like you're just kind of stumbling through town and the people that you know in it, and just kind of interacting with them in this very non sequitur, possibly disconcerting, because like in a normal dream, you're on board for whatever is happening, but for now, and very aware that you are dreaming, this is kind of wacky. But yeah, for the moment, you guys are in the general store.
But something threw up that wall.
Mm-hmm. Definitely seemed that way based on how Cloak reacted afterwards.
Okay, so maybe it doesn't want to talk to me. Or do I have to... It talked about like it was a spirit, and Cloak honors the spirits a lot, so maybe that's what it is. That's probably going to be a riddle for another time.
And just to remind you, if you want to try and grab hold of the reins here, you can roll resolve plus composure and see if you can kind of force something to happen.
I will just give it a shot.
Is it like
Resolve
a general roll for lucid dreaming?
I was looking through both the core book and the 2e book, and they're like, yeah, lucid dreaming, and you're able to actively participate and kind of control to some extent your dreams. I'm like, cool, how? And they're like, you just can, and I'm like,
You just do it.
Okay.
I think resolve composure
yeah.
is what's expected.
Yep. So you kind of grab hold of the metaphorical reins and kind of like, for my sake, and you can feel free to tweet this, but I'm imagining like Theo's like, and then I turn around and I see them coming in the door, kind of thing of trying to, use the TTRPG aspect of that GM control that a player might take.
I was thinking more like Theo turns around and she's in the middle of an open prairie. No distractions, there's nothing around. And is somebody standing there?
Yes and no. There is the wide open prairie, and compared to, outside where you've got the storm raging, sun is bright, it's noon, there's no shadows, you've got grass moving and swaying, a couple animals in the distance and stuff like that, but they feel like set dressing, like not even that they're real. And there is just this subtle shift and warp of light about 6 feet in front of you. It doesn't have a stable shape, but it's just looking through warped glass or through very clear water and just distorting stuff. And so there's something there.
It's a COVID compliant daemon.
Yeah. Hello? Can you hear me? You feel, okay.
Yeah, that was a Drew pause. You feel a sense of welcome. You're here on the prairie, but man, it's home sweet home.
Mm-hmm. Remember what Cloak said. I'm calling him Cloak, but I'm super sorry.
That's cool.
I want to thank you for bringing me back, I guess.
Just roaring laughter worth of amusement just kind of running through you, where like I think you probably laugh yourself.
Yeah, because I don't really I feel a sense of gratitude, but I don't know what exactly I'm thanking them for, so I'm like picking something. How can I see you? How can I hear you better? Can you tell me or guide me?
So I'm realizing that your daemon probably has no idea either. I think it's just a mirrored sense of curiosity and being quizzical. This, alien right on the other side who's like, I would like to talk to you too. I don't know how to do it though. Sending these kind
Morse
of
codes.
Yeah, these odd little messages back and forth as you guys are trying to communicate across this barrier.
I guess I'll do some thinking and I'll come back.
That same sense of, welcome and comfort here, and then the bittersweet sensation of a farewell and you're not sure when you'll see them again.
Mm-hmm.
And then you wake up. Your eyes just kind of open. And Cloak is there kneeling
Yeah,
take it from
same
everybody
posture.
by.
With his hands on the side of your face, gripping the chain.
Right.
You've returned.
I have.
What did you see?
All right. I need you to make a wits plus composure roll.
Who?
Craig. Theo.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay. You are fairly certain that you have actually woken up.
Okay, good. Oh, right. We have some Inception level shit
There
going
was,
on here.
if
Yeah.
you rolled a fail, you were definitely going to be in this. Wait, hang on.
Yeah, is this really?
Yep.
Yeah. Try and turn him into a squirrel or something.
Spin the top.
Why are you looking at me so weird? I'm trying to turn you into a squirrel and it's not working.
I don't know what that was, but thank you for the new experience.
You're welcome.
There was a presence there that wasn't me and wasn't you,
You're
but we
meant
couldn't
to-
communicate.
Hmm.
I could feel it, and I could get feelings and sort of emotional responses, but I couldn't see clearly, and we couldn't communicate.
Hmm.
Is that the Loa you were?
Well, in Vodou, we would describe that as your medtet. And
Metet.
young or new initiates are less able to talk to them than an Ungan or someone who's gone through the rites and been mounted by the Loa more frequently, more in touch with how they communicate and what they want for you. It's also possible that it is something slightly different because, as I've mentioned, I have to accept that although I interpret things through the lens of my past experience and my orientation to God and religion, what I do, my understanding of the interior of a mind, might not be explained entirely through just what I know from Vodou.
And we've already established that we perceive this world around us in different ways, so it might work differently for me than you.
It might.
But it still gives me a place to start.
It does. What I do trust is that any denizen, any resident, anything, entity, being, or small god living in your own mind that would react the way it did to me when I was trying to help you suggests to me that it is trying to protect you. And so I encourage you to spend as much time as you can, at least just being around it, so that you can feel that protective essence. You can maybe find some way to understand it better, so that you can figure out a shared language in the way that we all in this town have figured out how to talk to each other.
Good point. Well, this evening has certainly given me a lot to think about. Unless there's something else you wanted to discuss, I do think I should be getting back, though. Or
If-
Catherine will start to be concerned.
Makes sense. With your permission, I would offer to escort you home.
Very well, I'll accept that.
All right. The cloak goes around the corner to find like the thick raincoats that the miners use,
Mhm.
and brings two back, offering one to Theo.
I think Theo has one.
Yeah, Theo's got
Yeah,
a sticker.
just just in case she would like some additional rain protection. She came in kind of like sodden but it's up to her. And he extends it and says, if you'd like to be at least a little more dry when you get home.
Sure, I'll accept it and just like wear it like a poncho.
Yeah, makes sense.
Okay.
And so Cloak leads Theo out of the mines. Go ahead. Theo's going to say something. Sorry.
Yeah. And just like when we do get back to the camp, I'll make a point of introducing Monsieur Broussard to Catherine.
Again.
Just to, assuage her. He's fine, I'm fine, everything's fine. Even though he was out walking in the storm with me in the dead of night. It's all good. Everything's fine.
That's right. And he is just as polite as you would expect. And says, thank you for your company. And for treating me with kindness and respect.
Feels weird saying this, but you're welcome. It's how I try to treat people. There's far too little kindness and respect in the world, I find.
I
try to do my part to ease that balance a little.
Perhaps if others did as you did, we might have a better place where no one had to live in chains.
We can hope.
And so he nods and bows to both of you. And then he leaves.
Okay.
Catherine kind of looks over at you and says, did you learn anything?
He practices something called voodoo, which is very similar to, in some ways, kind of the stuff my mother used to do. So talking to him gave me a different perspective on the things that I know. I kind of wonder if it's the same thing deep down.
And I think for Catherine, all this stuff is way over her head, right? She even before your awakening, she wasn't involved in anything supernatural, paranormal, or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, okay, well, if this is your hobby, I'll support it.
And Catherine wasn't around before the awakening.
No.
Catherine is how long in a relationship with Theo?
I want to say a couple years, but I have it in Conca.
Right. Conca. Go check out Conca. But yeah, so you guys have a little chit chat. And, Catherine is, I don't think necessarily interested so much as, being supportive and like, oh, okay, that's cool. That's interesting. I don't know how much you actually share with her because at this point, 2 years. So yeah, at this point, I think with Catherine, like you've already established, there's a lot of stuff you can even tell her about, and it just
and probably at least one incident where I showed her shit and led to like unhappy times for a while until she forgot it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. And she has a completely different memory, which actually is a question. Did you talk to her about the memory and how false it was and kind of walk her through until she remembered again?
Given the strength of her reaction, like when Theo showed her a ghost,
mm-hmm.
And the violence of that reaction, not necessarily that she was violent, but its massive impact on her, she would have been a lot more circumspect and cautious about exploring it once the memory seemed to fade. So she wouldn't have hammered it in or anything like that.
Okay, yeah. Because I was wondering if Theo at least had the idea and understood quiescence a little bit more than anybody else might have. Like, oh, you can totally remind them about the time you showed them magic, and it's bad all over again.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Honey, I got into bowling
again.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And then Cloak, on your way back up, Jean Paul, is there any stops or visits or anything like that along the way, other than check in and make sure all the dogs are under porches and stuff like that?
Yeah, he's definitely doing that. The storm is raging, right? So he's making sure the animals are okay, listening for any horses that need to be reassured. Anybody who's stuck out, right? I doubt that at this point, there are people who don't have homes to live in, but it's a possibility.
Right.
Anyone who's drunk and who's exposed to the elements, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, anyone who, well, as I mentioned before, right, in his past experience before becoming initiated as Nungan, right, he did a bunch of, shady shit to reinforce the oppressive government in Haiti. So, under the cloak of night, when there's a rainstorm, it's the best time to go around and bother somebody, right? If you want to disappear somebody or you want to sneak into their house. So, this storm feels familiar to him. And so he's, an experienced predator looking for predators. So if anybody's roaming around the town, he would stroll through, just like patrol, basically.
Right. Yeah, unfortunately, it, like you said, small town, everybody kind of knows everybody, and we're not at that point where there are people in need, and so nobody's really forced into that. There's occasionally, definitely theft that happens in town, but it's usually more of the envious nature.
That makes sense.
No. Yeah, envious. One of these days I'll be right on those terms and not second guess myself. But yeah, for the most part, that walkthrough, no trouble or anything like that. I'm sure, especially considering the background, there's that eye for any of Enright's guys, especially the ones that work close with Ike. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, but yeah, for the most part, you do your patrol under your raincoat and don't see anything. I think you may see Gisela coming down through the rain and making it back home and stuff like that. Moment of meeting eyes, and then Gisela kind of steps into her house. Which, is there anything Gisela is doing before wet, probably dry off and then bed?
I did have an idea, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Mentioning it before, that I want to look into whatever the dangerous, weird magic that I felt was.
The prime, right?
That no one seems to know anything about, Which is well, I don't know where to start. So, well, I might know where to start. So I'm going to... Let's see. I'm going to cast Serendipity. I want to up the potency. Okay, yeah. Because I want the duration. I want the time bonus.
Oh, because you're going to take that reach option?
Yeah. So...
3 reach?
3 reach, yeah. And for yantras, I can have 2.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to... I want to, sort of sketch out, I guess, a map of the town. I want to know, where... What I'm reaching for, what I'm trying to find, is where I should go. I don't know if that's what it's going to give me, but that's, in my head, what I want.
Sure.
So I've drawn, a little rough sketch of the town, and I've got the pendulum.
Okay.
Does that count as 1 or 2?
Well, depends. Because you could use a sword for 2 yantras if you look at it as a weapon, but also turn it around, and so now it's a rod. So you can use things multiple ways. So if you're using each of them separately, the map is probably a +1. So if you wanted to use both of them as, this one and then that one, each separate in its own turn, that'd be +2 total.
Okay, so what is this number?
3 minus 1. 1, 4? Math fail. I think that's 4. 4.
4, yeah.
Oh, and overreaching a little bit. So throw that 1 out. Cool.
Okay. 1 success.
Cool. And your stated objective is...
I want to know... I mean, the end goal is to find out what that thing I felt was. I want to know where I should start looking.
Okay, cool.
Because no one else seems to know either.
Right. So the next step that you have, and the sensation that you feel is... the next step. They don't want to jump any steps, but
or the first step,
right?
Because I
think is what do you see? You get a little vision of yourself sitting like under, next to a candle. It's dark, can't even see your surroundings and stuff, and you're reading intently on a large hardbound book.
Okay.
You recognize the book.
Do I recognize it? What is it?
It's the book that
the notes.
Rilla had, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. That's what I figured.
Dun, dun, dun! Oh my god, the Royal Society is up to some magical bullshit. Who would have ever guessed?
Okay,
Right,
well, that's good. And I wanted to... Because, like, I was kind of hoping that would fail so I could keep trying and, like, have to burn mana to get rid of Paradox.
Sure.
Because I want to scour, but I don't know how it would, like, can you feel that you're running out of mana?
Absolutely.
Okay. Yeah, so the like she's feeling tapped.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
how much mana do you have?
I've got 3.
Okay. Well, you can mark off 1 to say that you used it there to fight off Paradox. Mm-hmm. If you want to intentionally, just drain yourself. I love the narrative of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can definitely do that. But yeah, you can definitely feel like, your reserves are definitely getting low. Especially, it might be one of those things like the difference between 10 mana and 9 mana. Who knows? But you were at like 10 mana literally 3 days ago.
Yeah.
Now you're down to
almost
2.
Gone.
Right. And it's like, woo, hang on. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I wanted to, I guess, try to recharge.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how you figure that out.
Sure. Well, let's kind of talk that out narratively.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see where we end up. So back home, little living room space, before, going into bed. Hello, Furball. Yes, lay down. That was such a good boy. You are feeling that, drained. Do you start looking for something to fill it? Do you kind of turn inward on it?
Yeah, I was going to, I guess, try to trade physical strength for, like, this emotional fatigue I have.
Mm-hmm. Sure. I get where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Cool. So, and for me, everybody can, mages understand that everything is patterns, capital P. And this pattern, that pattern, and it reflects stuff, and, already can tell, like, I can see the fate side of somebody's pattern or the time part of somebody's pattern. Everybody's got their various arcana, and, like, oh yeah, if I had all the arcana, which in my head, I imagine that the 4 of you probably are still trying to figure out what arcana is there, right? Which I think Gisela probably has the most clue, just because she's the one picking up all of the stuff from her mage site, the passive mage site. But yeah, looking at kind of your own pattern and seeing that it is empty of mana, or nearly so, and then like, okay, what can I, kind of flex those mage muscles and drive a portion of your pattern, and like, well, I should just be able to put this back in there. So scouring, I gotta go look that up because it's been a bit since.
How many mana does it get you?
Thought it was
3. 3.
Just castigating ourselves.
Don't worry. We'll bring this up when it's time to give out beats at the end of the session.
The reason I really wanted to sort of run out, because I thought that would help really trigger it, is like, oh, now you are exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
But this is close enough. It works.
Yeah. So yeah, in this particular case, oh right. I was like, I thought you could do 2 different things. Yeah, you can. Yeah. And yeah, it is your physical form. So here's the question. Do you, reduce your self in terms of your attributes, or do you destroy your body, if that makes sense?
I think
What do you think her natural inclination ends up leaning towards?
I'm trying to think of the stories I have her like raised on, basically.
Sure.
And if any of them feature like blood magic,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, she'd probably go for try that.
Sure. Yeah. I'm not into any kind of like self-harm. Please, if you have any kind of that inklings, talk to somebody. But yeah, I think this is like that little, twist of your ankle that you had walking, a while ago, and all of a sudden it just gets more inflamed, and just like that spot of weakness that you already had just kind of doubles up, and now like your leg is immensely like bruised. You can see, in the kind of low light and stuff like that, some like purple bruises on your, ankle and calf and stuff like that, which, oh yeah, as you take the boot off, it's like, oh, wow. But you also notice, but hang on, I have more mana now. And that definite like disconcerting realization of, I could like really mess myself up with this if I overdo it.
Yeah. In a pinch, you could do this, but probably shouldn't.
Yep.
And it's a resistant.
It's a resistant lethal
wound, yeah.
2 days.
2 days. Magic ain't speeding it up.
No.
Not that any of us have magic to speed it up.
But hey, I get 3 mana back.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Now I got 5.
Yay.
Halfway there. Definitely need to have a conversation with somebody about, okay, let's do this so we're not beat up for 2 days straight.
Yeah, there should be a better way. This is a way, but...
Yeah. Cool. And then I think we roll into Monday.
Well, there was something else Cloak wanted to do that night.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. So while mentioning his past experience during the patrol, I was leading to him deciding that night, after figuring out that he really can enter people's dreams, that considering he's direct, he's going to try to invade Mortimer Bethune's dreams. Somebody else's dreams, to figure out what's going on with that experiment. So what he'd like to do is start walking towards the Enright estate, or where he imagines they might be staying. I think that's where they... Oh, wait. Are they staying in the tavern?
No, they're staying at the estate.
They're still staying, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's going to walk to the estate. And as he's going there, right, he's going to get to a point where he's overlooking it, and he's going to focus on his memories of being in the shadows and coming upon people, and try and harness what he's going to try and do is turn inwards and try and amplify what he considers to be a mantle. So actually, let me preface this. So there's a Loa called Marinette, which is thought to be like the ascended form of a person who died in the Haitian Revolution, a woman who aided in it, and she was tortured and things like that. So anyway, she's one of the Loa who's a little bit more, hot, right, rageful. So the air of menace that the members of the mystery cult have, he's going to try and amplify that so that it keeps people away from. That's how he's thinking of it. So I want to cast an improvised spell, the practice of veiling, basically incognito presence. And Cloak's going to attempt to push out this field such that people will ignore what he's doing.
Sure.
If that sounds good to you.
Mechanically, is there a difference between this and incognito presence?
No.
Okay, cool.
Just because I don't have the rote. You got to describe it differently.
I don't have to, but yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally on board for this.
All right, cool. All right, pull that over. All right, cool. For this, I will need 2 reach for instant cast and advanced duration.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 2. My gnosis is 1, 2. And he is going to increase the... Oh, jeez, dang it. Alright, I'm gonna...
New plan?
Yeah, new plan. What I'm gonna do is... We're gonna do 3 reach. 1 for instant cast, 1 for advanced duration, and 1 for swapping the primary factor.
Okay.
And then I'm going to increase the potency by 2 levels. From the 2 that'd be, because I have 2 mind, up to 4.
I'm sorry, trying to figure out where you're going with this with the potency.
Well, an incognito presence has a withstand, which is resolve. So you need to get it high enough such that it actually works on people.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
Right? So my default potency would be 2 with mine 2.
Mm-hmm.
So if anyone has a resolve of 2 or higher with a potency of 2, they see me.
Mm-hmm. Which, hey guys, guess what? It's been 166 episodes, and I'm just now noticing that Incognito Presence has a withstand.
Oh.
Oops. Okay, well.
Yeah, that's what prevents it from being fully exploitable
So super
immediately.
Completely
Yeah.
OP through the past, if you've watched the
Yeah.
Rookery campaign, hey, whoops.
Don't blame me. You know, I haven't read a single damn mind spell.
Yep.
We're always learning.
We are always learning.
Yeah. All right. So
Yeah, right there. Says it right there. on the thing.
Right there on the tin. Yep. Please continue, Ralph. This makes so much more sense now.
all right, cool. Now I understand why you're like, why are you doing that?
Why are you putting potency on that thing? Just throw more duration on it. Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. Okay, so I'm gonna take a -4 penalty to get it up to a total potency of 4.
Okay.
And I'm just gonna take the scene. No, increase the scale. So let's see. Okay, so this is what he wants to do. Right now, he's going to concentrate on this spell. He's not actually, he wants to get there. So 2 yantras are going to be concentration and then the Ason. And the reason why I'm doing this is I know with the concentration yantra that if you take any action other than a reflexive action, that the spell dissipates. Mm-hmm. So he's going to try and maintain this as he approaches to try and figure out where Mortimer is. And then when necessary, depending on the circumstances, he might drop it. We'll see what happens. He might leave. Who knows? But for now, he's focusing on trying to make sure that he keeps people away.
Sure.
So that makes a +3 bonus from yantras. And then he's going to spend a willpower.
Cool.
So that's going to be 5 dice.
You do not have 2 free reach.
Oh, that's right. I only have 1. I'm sorry.
Oh,
So
Cool.
good.
So 2 dice. I made a mistake there. I'll redo it.
No problem. No, you don't need to redo it. Just making sure
Okay.
we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Cool. Are you
Yeah, I just
spending
forgot.
mana on the paradox?
You know how Cloak feels about that. Triumph through adversity.
So just
go ahead, cool.
Okay. Yep.
Here we go.
Nothing.
No, keep going. Yep. How about that?
Don't be afraid of paradox, kids. It's fine.
It's totally fine.
That's a Faustian bargain if I've ever heard one.
Well, hey, it
It's
did go
fine
through
until it's
pandemonium.
not.
Demons.
Yep.
I mean, how else will you know what could happen?
Exactly.
Yes.
There's so
You don't
many
know?
arcane beats, guys. Just let the
yeah,
paradox
do it.
happen. There's so many arcane beats for you over here.
All right. So 5 dice. We're gonna roll it. Take a chance here. Boop. Yes. Oh
Yes.
yeah.
4 successes.
Excellent.
Just
And
shy
so-
of that exceptional.
Yep.
Oh, and
Cool.
do spend mana on it because it is.
Oh, yeah,
incognito
that's right.
presence,
Thank
and
you.
it is.
Yep. That's cost of mana for the activation. So, for the next scene, Cloak is walking around concentrating on keeping up. In his mind, it's amplifying Marinette's mantle.
Mm-hmm.
So he knows that
you don't want to look at
alone.
me. Yeah, if you
Yes,
don't want to
exactly.
look at me, you don't want to fuck with me. Yep.
Yep. And in like a Mastigos way, it would be like reinforcing a boundary, right? Like, I am not something you see, you can't connect with me, that kind of thing. Keep your attention away.
Yep. Like it.
Cool. All right. So then he'll approach the estate.
Cool. And
After
that's where
having
we'll
done
take our
this.
break.
Sounds good to me.
Because I love playing and running tabletop RPGs because people do stuff like this. We're going to go, oh, yeah, that's definitely a thing you can do. Wasn't prepared for it. I like it. I was fully expecting,
Dodge weave.
Yep. Yeah, no, this is great. And this is, this is right about our break time anyways. So, something, John Cena. Correct.
They can
Yes. Da, 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 da. Oh wait, that's our signal.
That's our signal. Don't do it.
Can't be
so,
doing it.
yes. For those of you at home, behold the Ziggy Cat.
a baby.
We are going to go
Baby.
take a quick break. This is when you should also take a break. Stand up, move around, get something to drink, go to the bathroom, all that kind of stuff. Go check in on your loved ones and make sure that they didn't spontaneously immolate. These things happen. We'll be right back. So, Ralph, spell
Alrighty.
goes off, and you approach in right manner.
So yeah. So Cloak was standing on a little, hill overlooking or right below, looking up at Enright Manor. And there was a lot of rain falling down around him, and he created for himself, a mantle that would protect him from prying eyes and attention. So Perry in the Twitch chat suggested that Cloak's nickname should be Cloak of Night. Well, I'm wondering if anybody paid attention to the full honorific Ungan title that Cloak has, that I originally gave him, or maybe it was in Conca, because I was hoping for a moment like this where he could create for himself a Cloak of Shadows in the Falling Rain, which is his full name. So that's what just happened. We had the scene I was hoping for. Yeah. All right. So it's in Conca, y'all. So yeah, let's head into the manor.
Cool. Roll stealth checks. LOL. Yeah.
I mean, that is the skill.
It is the skill, but notably because of incognito presence, you only care
No one's looking at.
if somebody has for resolve, and at which point, well, yeah, I guess that's true. Is Cloak just walking in with like total
Confidence.
And just like I own the place and just walking, or are you actually also trying to keep a low profile?
He's walking in confident, the way he would when he was, actually going to abduct somebody.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Like this is it. You cannot escape. That kind of thing. So.
The Terminator. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. There's no guards. This is not the bad guy from a cowboy movie, with a bunch of guys staying up in the middle of the night for no reason in a storm to keep an eye out. Nah.
Yeah. Come on.
The
Lights on, things like that. Sentries.
Yeah. No, definitely not. The house is dark. There's a little bit of light coming from, because the storm is overhead and it's got things pretty well concealed, but there is a full moon that kind of peeks through here and there. But yeah, for the most part, you're just kind of relying on natural night sight kind of stuff.
Excellent. Cool.
And,
so then he would be willing to, we of course don't have to make this happen. It doesn't have to take a long time for this part, but he would of course be willing to scout around the periphery if necessary, if it's like one story or something.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a way to look in the rooms before actually penetrating the house.
Which actually, thank you, because that does remind me, because we haven't talked about this. No, this is a big house. This is a 3-story building.
Okay, gotcha.
Right. This is, the other buildings in town, a lot of them hit 2 stories. This one is definitely, between it being up the hill from the town and the fact that it's 3 stories, it definitely kind of gives that fort castle vibe. From your various interactions with Enright, the few times that you have been in, especially like when you guys first arrived in the whole Maroons and you're like, we need to discuss this. He brought you into the home. The first level is basically, your living room, entertaining, dining room, kitchen, servant quarters kind of stuff. The second level up is I would guess basically the guest quarters, as well as like they have a small library that is not usable, but the books are available for borrowing. I would imagine that Gisela has borrowed quite a few books because she's totally not sleepy. Belle, I'd get there eventually. I'm gonna go through all the princesses, but the third level is where where Ike and Warner live, as well as a couple of the like retainer type of staff as well. So he's man, I got too many names. Mortimer is somewhere either on the second or third floor.
Okay, cool. Great. Head to the second.
Quick walk around. You have to check a couple doors. There's, one poor, schmuck who actually wakes up or is already awake due to the storm and watches their door open, sees nobody, and the door shuts again. And you definitely hear a like whispered, "What?" So somebody sitting there, maybe near a window or whatever, just can't sleep. But door open, door close. Okay, and leaves. So Cloak probably puts a little. Okay, that may start some rumors. And eventually make your way up to the third floor. Very easily, just on that third floor, off of the landing. That's the long hallway towards one set of not double doors, but a door that's probably the master. So let's start over on this other side, and you find Rilla's room, and then you find the room that Mortimer and Jules are using.
Okay, gotcha.
And both with little separate beds and stuff like that.
Fantastic. Are they asleep?
They are.
Great. Okay.
Backtracking a little bit, Rilla is not, but...
Okay, cool. So, but Mortimer and what's his name?
Jules.
His assistant. Jules, thank you. You just said it. Mortimer and Jules are asleep. Okay, so Cloak is a choice.
Right.
He's patient, though. Like I said, Cloak is patient. He's direct, but he's patient, right? So, let's see. He notices that people will, recognizing that somebody responded to the door opening. Mm-hmm. He's perceiving that what he just did will prevent people from perhaps noticing him, but not noticing everything that happens when he's there.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's considering whether or not he's going to take something, but he doesn't really want to steal other than somebody's thoughts. So, we're asleep. All right. Now that he knows where they are sleeping, he's going to plan to come back another time.
Okay.
Yep.
Have that experiment done. I can definitely walk around this place and nobody notices me unless I touch stuff. Cool.
Yep. He's confirmed for himself that he can do this, and he's gotten some information as he did this. So
sure. Cool. And not picking up anything, just kind of making your way back out and leaving behind a little "the house is haunted" tale or something. Now here's the question.
Definitely ghosts.
Yes. What does Jean Paul think about that? The fact that he's leaving somebody who has seen something.
Gotcha. Well, Oh, you know what? the way Jean Paul is thinking of it is that people don't want to look or do anything, that they're averse, right? So that guy looks scared and confused that the door is opening, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Jean Paul isn't interpreting it as though the guy doesn't see him. Mm-hmm. And he sees the door, right? He sees this, the guy noticed something and he's feeling afraid, but that's how he responded to it. Like the fact that he didn't respond to it opening is not inconsistent with the group of effects he wanted.
Gotcha.
Right? Because he's not thinking of it as invisibility. He's thinking of it as this mantle of, you don't say anything, you don't do anything with me, you leave me alone.
Right.
And so if the guy is like kind of like wide-eyed that the door opens and he doesn't do anything, that's going to validate his expectations. So he wouldn't react to that very much. He'd be like, so what?
Gotcha. Right.
Working as intended.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Right. Because he's not thinking of it as some weird arcane experience for that person that he's going to need to deal with later.
Cool. All right. Yeah. And make your way back to the barracks and rest up for the mining tomorrow. Though, yeah, I guess Jean Paul doesn't partake directly. But it is going to be a big day because apparently lamps are going to be installed. So
that's right.
We make
he needs to help oversee that.
Yep. So we make it to Monday.
Righty.
You know, sun rises on a muddy and, you know, it's a nice bright day. And you've got the shimmer of, you know, drying water on dirt. Grass looks bright and green. Very refreshing, cleansing rain. But yeah, there's mud everywhere and everybody knows it. Bring out the second best boots. Yeah. But yeah, so we pick up with Monday. Everybody has jobs of some form to do. Some are full-time jobs, some are make work and, you know, whatever. Are there any plans for the daylight hours?
I just realized something I was thinking of, but I forgot to mention, and I hope this would be an okay small retcon. When he entered the house, he would take his boots off.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Let's just be implied.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like,
Track muddy footprints all the way through.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I hadn't thought about that, but it makes sense. And that definitely could have been an I got you moment, but yeah.
All right, thanks.
All right.
No, I assume Theo's going to be busy all day, like cleaning up the camp and stuff after the rain. And
Yep. Find where the you know, the water pushed the stools off to, or yeah. Cool. I think we pick up with Isabel and a foot nudging your boots, and you know the stable guy.
Do they have names?
Yeah, absolutely, they've got names.
He's definitely not generating it right now.
No. Spencer, you recognize this guy, Spencer Burns. He's not like the head stable guy. There's not really a level of hierarchy. It's just there's like three of these guys.
Couple of them, yeah.
Yep. And he kind of nudging your boot and looking down. Morning.
Wakes up in just like a fucking flurry tirade of Spanish.
Sure. Like, there's a step back. There's actually, we have coffee? I think we have coffee, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And
Coffee takes over the world, especially for the English in like the 1700s.
That's right. Yep. Because we had it in 1776 because it's like, it's the American drink. Screw tea.
Fuck tea.
Yeah. and so, yeah, he's sitting there.
A little bit of propaganda over the years on that one, but yeah.
But yeah, he's got, he's got, tin mug, sip, looking down, morning, gets Spanish in return, sips, morning.
Good morning.
Why am I doing that with a fake mug? Hang on.
You have a real mug.
Take the straws out of your hair.
Mm-hmm.
Looks over at your horse, which, by the way, you had named previously jokingly, but what is the name?
No, that's definitely his name. That's definitely like Isabel would, as she starts learning English, she'd find that hilarious.
And And the
It's
name of the horse.
Jose the Horse.
Yep.
With J's for both.
Right. And so, and looks, Jose has been, taken care of and stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's this other horse. And Spencer has seen this horse, but the grin on his face, he's about to give you some shit.
Isabel also would have taken care of. Horse after she left.
Yeah, absolutely.
He didn't just sit in the middle of the stable with his saddle on and cold and wet all night. That's not good for a horse.
Yeah, and I'm sure Gisela got involved in that too. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, once it became clear that he was going to spend the night here.
Right.
But Spencer kind of pats the Bauer family horse and says, so somebody else in there, kind of looking at all the other hay and stuff like that.
She thought it was a good idea to leave in the storm. I thought a little bit of pluck another thing, a little bit of hay in my hair was better than catching my death out there last night.
Yep, had a brother lost in pneumonia. All right, well, there's a bucket. It's got some water in it still. Return the horse and just walks back out. You looking around, you can definitely tell some of the morning chores have been taken care of while you slept, and people have cleaned up around you. And Jose and the stall you're in is untidy, and you
right.
But everybody else they're like, is she waking up? No, she ain't waking up. All right, well, we're just gonna go through her day and.
I wouldn't say that this is a regular occurrence, but this has almost certainly happened before.
Right. Yeah. And between her natural
especially
inclination,
when she first got here, and just that little bit of low level life magic resonance and stuff like that, she just naturally gets along well with
Yep. Animals
livestock.
compared to people.
Yeah. Well, not even compared to people, because she's good with people, right?
Sure.
But yeah, I like the idea that there's sort of call them zero level attainments of these little just things you're naturally sort of you don't even notice you're doing and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, where the world just kind of changes around you too slightly.
Yep. Oh, but yeah,
long-term members.
Yeah, that's another step above, but yeah. And so it's getting the blankets and the saddles and everything loaded back up on the horse, and then walking him down to town.
Sure.
I'm not going to ride somebody else's horse.
Sure.
To be impolite. I don't know him or her.
Yep.
In my head, his name is Bill, because that's the only name a horse can have.
Yep. It's okay. If you don't understand that, get educated. But
That's my horse. I don't know you. Okay.
Oh, goddamn. But yeah, that is, I think, how we kind of start our day. Is, various, chores and, duties. And, for Gisela, it's to the general store. And, there are people who are there regularly that you're, dealing with and doing some various bartering. And there's probably some discussion about, well, no, I need all 4 eggs for the bag of flour and, some of that other stuff. Is there any specific tasks or any things that people are doing during the kind of normal stuff? We also obviously need to chat about the lamps up in the mine, but obviously anything else that folks are aimed at.
Just to put a point, Theo's definitely going to be working hard during the day because he's planning on going out again tonight. So being a very attentive partner and doing extra stuff to help out and
heck yeah,
getting it so she can get the backdoor pass or whatever.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. I'm mostly just busy working, filling orders, trying to get everything done here that I can. Being very attentive to anything that might be coming in from the Royal Society folks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still trying to use this as my in to getting good with them, make good impressions.
Right. Yep.
Especially now that I know what I know and seen as like a...
Need that book? Yep. So we pick up actually with the Royal Society, specifically Mortimer, up at the mines with Enright, and heading to the Maroons mine. That is at this point probably well in swing, probably from dawn, maybe. Oh yeah, because that was the rise with the sun kind of stuff. So, and they're there with oh boy, hang on. This guy
Monday
might
mornings.
Oh yeah, Monday mornings. Let's see. I might not have made a character, but we're going to double check. Yeah, there he is. Nantan, who is the local. He's an Apache, Native American, and from like a young age has always been interested in horses, which led to shoeing and oh my gosh, I almost said coopering. That's not it. Ferrying, and then eventually evolved into like actually smithing. And he is the guy who runs the town's smithy with a couple apprentices and stuff like that. Though, if any real blacksmith came through, they'd probably have a fit because Nantan's smithing stuff is self-taught. Up from the farrier stuff, but he's the guy, and so he comes up with Enright and Mortimer and the apprentices who don't have names, carrying or pulling a little cartload of these lanterns that have been all kind of set up and very carefully with glass. That is the big thing that Mortimer brought. Those were transported in little satchels, and there's not a ton of these things. The glass is going to be something that they all have to arrange, and that's kind of part of the conversation. But Enright looks at Jean Paul and says, let us take these to the deepest parts of the mine, and we'll set those up there, because that's where the danger of the gases are, as they dig and open new tunnels and things like that.
Okay. Before we enter the mine, I must say something to you. He motions to, some Maroons moving around, or if there are none at the entrance, right, and they're all deep inside. He would say, when we came here from Haiti, it was a place that was new and unfamiliar. And you often need a new home. You need a place that can replace that which you once knew. This mine is more than a source of work and income for us. It is a source of stability and safety. So I ask you to commit to the safety and well-being of the people who work in this mine before you enter.
Oh, and you are directing this comment to
anyone who has not entered. He's probably not directing it to Nantan, but definitely Mortimer and any of the others.
Gotcha. Yeah. So yeah, Mortimer nods, and Enright's nodding with him and says, "Yeah, no, this is the intention of these is to make this work safer." I think Enright even kind of crosses the boundary and kind of reaches over and hand on your shoulder, very fatherly gesture, and says,
I feel like you totally missed the point of what you were saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. And says, yeah, this is a place that we want to be safe for all of you. We're not going to do anything that endangers this place.
Okay. Well, what I requested was more ceremonial than anything else. So as you enter this place, think of it as a home and not just a work site.
Enright looks confused. Mortimer looks interested. And Nantan is busy with the apprentices and carefully unloading these lamps and stuff like that. But Enright confused says, absolutely, Jean Paul. Yes.
Thank you. Let us go in.
And
he politely moves past Enright and then leads them further into the mine.
Right. And you guys kind of make your way down to the depths, where of course the sound is kind of echoing up from, and you begin laying out plans for where these are going to go, and until you get more, how you're going to kind of leapfrog them forward. So these are the deep, these are the ones that are in the deepest parts and stuff like that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep. Generally speaking, it's window dressing for now. But yeah, it's that's what you guys are up to that morning. Over at the general store, Rilla arrives with Jules, and outside a basically a cart being pulled by one of the larger horses that Enright has, a draft horse, right? Not a riding horse. And they kind of stop in, and Rilla and Jules are both full of smiles. Oh, Gisela, we have come for everything and more.
Okay. Well, I have everything you requested packed up, good to go. I'll start bringing, I guess, boxes from the back or whatever, where I had everything set aside.
Right.
Directing them to also come grab things, make it go faster if they would like.
Yep. Yeah. They're on board, and very quickly, long before the invention of it, but they assembly line, and pass stuff out, and kind of load stuff up. Rilla, who's the one inside, it definitely makes the comment of well, this is all and kind of making comments of the nice wrap packages, and some of them labeled with a little bit of markings or whatever, so they're easily, because I imagine Gisela went full gift wrap on this. This is convenient and stuff like that. And as you are loading stuff up, makes mention of two things. One, that they're going to have to request some additional components and stuff. So the next time a boat comes through, they need to basically get a message upstream, back towards civilization, so to speak. And then that there is other stuff that should be arriving and should have been, just a day or two behind their arrival, and so it's already late. So stuff to keep an eye out for, and asking that you store it, because inevitably Anastasio is just going to everything that's on the boat, because 90% of it belongs to him, and if anybody has other stuff, they can come by the general store to pick it up.
Of course, we'll take care of all of your things. If you need anything else here that wasn't on the list, we might have it.
Right. And as they kind of finish loading up, for the most part, it's little bits of building supplies, nails, a couple of the fairly short in supply bits of lumber, and things like that. But then there's also some food kind of stuff, and just kind of we're living here kind of supplies. All stuff that you definitely have on board. And then she basically gets out a nicely written list of some esoteric items. To anybody else, this would be a weird grocery list. Roll intellect plus occult.
3 dots in occult.
I know.
This does not have to do with the curse, does it?
It does not have to do with the curse. It is not going to make it worse or anything yet.
1 success.
Yeah, all you need. Yeah, you're definitely looking at this stuff, and it while you don't have 100% of a chemistry degree on any of this stuff, but 90% of this sounds like stuff in a witch's brew. You know, legitimately, like Eye of Newt, which by the way is just mustard seed. Like, it's not a big deal, guys.
Need some wormwood.
Wormwood, Wolfsbane, like literally, it's like this is all out of some, you know, Grimm's fairy tales kind of stuff.
Yes, that is the book that she has.
Right. Yeah, this is like, and you know, for her, it's like, well, is this really happening? Is this the list? There's some other stuff in there, mortar and pestle, which is like, okay, that's kind of leaning that way too. Some requests for metal for like working. A couple things of like silver and gold, which are like, that's like, you know, kind of a bigger deal. You know, but it's very like, you kind of understand why they wouldn't try, like, okay, the herbs and stuff like that, but like some of the other stuff, okay, yeah, I get why they wouldn't travel with this.
Saltpeter, phosphorus.
No. But yeah, some just very
biting my tongue to not ask if they also need the cauldron or if they brought their own.
Sure, that's fair. But yes, it's quite a lot of stuff that, especially the dichotomy between yes, telescope looking at the stars, also occults and herbalism, alchemy, you know, chemistry kind of stuff feels very, very different. And Rilla is just, you know, straight face, just handing, oh yeah, we'll need some of that too.
Some of this is easier to source than others. The gold I could get you, but it might not be here immediately, and it's probably not going to be cheap.
We, yeah, and I think it's probably even like addressed about like Mortimer Bethune Royal Society, you know, kind of stuff, and you know, basically says the money should not be
money's no object.
Yeah. You know, this would be and of note, the gold is talking about like, you know, like
a few ounces.
Well, like 2 grams suspended in oil flake kind of stuff, not like a bar or anything like that. But yeah,
I was thinking like you might be better off just buying a piece of jewelry off of someone in town.
Yeah, and that may be an offer that you make, and they Rilla is like, no, we need to ensure that it is
pure,
100% pure gold. Yes, you know, it is a matter of science. You understand?
Yes.
So
we can certainly acquire all of this for you. Again, timing, I'm not positive of, because some of this is probably not things that we have in stock.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, 90% of it.
Yeah.
There might be some of the alchemical stuff that you have over in the like food seasoning aisle of
we probably have some of them as spices,
right?
Or someone might have growing in their garden, but I'll see what I can do.
Out of curiosity, Theo, would you grow any of that?
I was just gonna say, if you're aware of Theo at all, you would know that she has a somewhat esoteric collection of herbs and things and plants.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was thinking. Like, it might do better to go talking to townsfolk.
So, yeah. Go ahead.
We'll see what we can do to get it to you as soon as possible.
Okay. Well,
do you have a hard deadline?
No. Mr. Bethune is happy to be here until the work is finished.
Of course.
You know, the company here is nice. I'm in no rush to leave. So, you know. This place has started to grow on me. Maybe it's just the bridge and all the free beer, but of which she had a mug. Jules ends up joining once the cart is packed and kind of steps up and kind of is in that spot where you can kind of keep an eye on it, because you can just leave the door open because you're not about to air condition the outside or nothing. And Rilla kind of looks over, Jules kind of, looks at the list and kind of grins and yeah, they seem very excited about this part of the work, whatever it is. But
What sort of science are you doing? Because I know you're looking at stars. This is chemistry?
And I think
Yeah, I'm trying to say this like casually conversationally, not like interrogating.
sure.
But yeah.
You're kind of nudging them along. I think that's probably going to be probably manipulation plus persuasion. But because of your bonus, you could use any other social skill.
Persuasion is my best social skill. So
Oh, there you go. Just stay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to try and subtly kind of, nudge things along.
No successes.
Oh, nope. Okay. So, they're like, it's just, actually, I think Rilla, just kind of shrugs it off. And, like I said, Mr. Bethune is not very forthcoming in the information that we get. So, unfortunately, you know about as much as I do.
Of course. Well, it seems very interesting. Whatever it is, we will get you the required components.
Thank you. Yeah, Jules lights up and he's like, oh, yes, we're very excited as well.
Of course. Trying to think if there's anything else I can do for them right now. Have you already begun looking at the stars?
We had planned to do it last evening, but it was a bit stormy. But I think, and they look up through the roof. It's looking much drier today, and so we may actually begin some preliminary stuff. If everything is set up correctly, that should mean that tomorrow we can have you come up and point the telescope at things.
I am very excited.
Well, if you have anybody else who's, interested in this kind of thing, the Royal Society is all about spreading knowledge and information. And so, after you come up, maybe, we can convince Mr. Bethune to, bring other people up. Jules kind of rolls his eyes, but he's like, it's interesting to even use a telescope, even if you don't understand what you're looking at.
Of course. And I think I'm probably done with them for right now.
Yeah, there's a little idle chit chat and stuff like that, and eventually Jules is like, we do have a cart of stuff that we need to take up to the Enright house, so.
I will send them on their way with pastries.
Further bribes. Cool.
Further bribes, I'm not charging them for these, just gifts as usual.
Friendship bribes.
Should use those pastries to buy doors.
Mhm.
Well, actually, if there was a goal that you were set on, actually, I guess this would potentially be a thing that you want to set up. Is there a stated objective that you're aimed at, wanting to do? I mean, I can think of one obvious one, but it's kind of up to you of what you want to possibly push a person towards letting you do or doing for you.
I mean, I would like to get Rilla to tell me about the book.
Sure.
At
yeah.
the very least, what...
Just
Because
to open
before,
up
what
more.
I gathered was you've got some weird fancy language that... And that's about all I know. But yeah,
Absolutely.
I want to get her to open up more to me.
Sure. And if we point at, let me take a look at the books is a pretty good one. And just because, Rolf, I know you're faster at this, it's wits plus resolve for the doors, or is it resolve plus composure?
Oh, it's the lower of resolve or composure.
Ah, okay. Cool.
They're the same.
No, for Rilla.
Not yours.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So how many doors that you have to get through? Cool. I'm trying to think. I think this is going to be a flat-out presence plus persuasion. This is changing moods and attitudes. So yeah, go ahead and roll that.
Do you have any useful bonuses?
No,
I have one for informed, one for investigation.
Gotcha. Yeah. Sadly not.
I will spend the will. Really?
Wow.
No successes.
Wow.
That's
Six
frustrating.
Oh well.
Yep. So, but yeah, with that, and basically, I think we'll just kind of lump that in with the pastry bribe, and you know, like, oh, you know, okay, oh well, thank you, you know, and they're like, cool, free shit.
You just cannot get these people to take you seriously.
No.
Nope. Which is really funny because I think they would
Peasant girl.
right, yeah, they would freak the fuck out if they knew you could do magic. But yeah, cool. So yeah, we cut from there. And what is Isabel up to today? Because I know, you know, during the evening the tavern is kind of wild and boisterous, and there's a lot to do there. But
Yeah, I imagine there's a lot of chores and stuff. That's like, because you know, Madame Henriette is
Robert, yeah.
Yeah, Madame Robert. She, I mean, that's her home as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I imagine part of the rent is, you know,
Yeah, I gotcha. So you're doing the
more or less
house
like,
upkeep.
yeah,
Sure.
housekeeping in addition to working at the thing.
Yeah.
So catching up, especially like after I get back and the day has already begun. I've been more or less missing.
Mm-hmm.
Naughty.
Yeah, there's definitely. I mean,
We can do that if you want.
yeah. Well, Madame Robert is, you know, not a total prude in any way. She expects a certain, you know, and yeah, I think when you arrive, you know, it's just a very subtle. Was it Jules? Very subtle.
Like looking down. No, all my jewelry is here.
Okay. And like hands you a broom.
Oh, how dare you?
Yeah. No, is that
It was-
the kind of rapport that the two of you have, or is is Isabel?
I think
actually-
it's built up that way.
Yeah.
It definitely did not start that way. It's like, I'll have you know, it was a roll in the hay,
but it was with Jose.
but it was with Jose. Got caught in the storm and bunkered down in the stables.
Okay. Well, and kind of gestures that you're probably still kind of wet.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
a mess.
Go change.
Just a mess.
Yeah, it's just like, well, you know, go up,
So
dry
it's
up.
drawing your hair and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
If you want me to draw you a bath, let me know, and we'll get you all cleaned up. You know, and yeah,
Yeah.
She is not full on maternal so much as, you know, an aunt. You know, cares about you, but like you're a grown woman, whatever, kind of thing. As long as it doesn't demean the
Right. As
luster
long as it
of
doesn't
her-
reflect poorly on her.
right, exactly.
Right.
Yep.
I think that's what I definitely would agree with. And then, yeah, my only questions would be: do I see Jules, or do I see Theo at any point in the day?
Gotcha. Jules.
I
Other
said
than that, just
Dio,
blink
and I
in
was
the
like, what?
Dio, yeah, do I see Dio? Is Dio here?
No.
You dare approach me?
I have to punch you. Yeah, okay. No. Rilla and Jules do come in, and they basically find a little table and they kind of sit and probably request some food. You know, so they're there. I don't know if you'll see Theo. I think Theo is probably, yeah.
Okay. And it is just
Is it
quasi
flirt o'clock?
yeah, it's quasi relentless, like just more or less busting his balls as a form of flirting, like,
Sure.
And, like, greeting him is like, oh, if it isn't the man of 1,000 dowries and
Right. Yeah.
and all this. And you know, Jules, a little birdie told me you're inviting women up to go look at the stars. It sounds awfully romantic.
Which Jules turns like 7 different shades of red, sputters and blah 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 blah, and Rilla pats him on the shoulder and says, "Yeah, no, Isabel, it's just to look through the telescope. I don't think that Jules can quite figure out a romantic thought in his head."
You want to test that?
Well, and bear in mind, Rilla is deep in the like romance side of things, where Jules is a bit more on the.
He's a nerd.
Well, nerd.
He's a fucking himbo.
Yeah. And probably a little bit more physically intimate as opposed to like. Right. Rilla's idea of romance. Rilla, without getting too courted or anything with. Right. Yeah.
All right. Well, how about let's see how well this sort of thing goes of manipulation and expression. So I want to narrate a story that would be, we'll say spicy.
And sure, and that could be you.
For Rilla.
Yeah.
Sure.
But dance around while I tell it and present a sort of visual storytelling.
Sure. Yeah.
Got that one. Body language. Yep.
But yeah, it's just like Rilla definitely finds it, amusing. Jules is just the blush does not end. No. Though he's starting to, because we're not going into the story telling itself, but he makes a couple jibes and comments back and stuff like that, and definitely seems to be like relaxing a little bit, and like it still makes him blush, and but he's like, okay, wait, hang on, and starting to get a word in edgewise every now and then. But there's definitely like a couple looks from Rilla, who like is not engaging but is just amused at the back and forth, and who keeps like looking at the door if somebody walks in, like this is very inappropriate. But for the most part, they're just there with and eventually like eat, and I'm sure that potentially some of the other men who work like the still and stuff like that might engage in oh yeah, body jokes and stuff like that. They're on board.
They come in, add into the Isabel. I mean, if there's anything Isabel does, it's play to a crowd, right? Like one-on-one, not her favorite. But in a crowd situation, you can hide a little bit.
Yeah, you're putting on the show as opposed to being honest.
And this is more or less to, like, you said they're starting to get a little bit more relaxed. And I was leaning towards, like, I joked about it, but can I get an invite?
Sure.
Like,
I gotcha.
And like planting that idea, right? That's the manipulation part, is like, no, that actually is a really good story. Perhaps you should come and try it out for real.
Sure. All right. Let's go ahead with that being like. I think I want to have another role basically with a little bit more pointed thing at Jules, because I think that's who you're trying to get the invite from.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like socialize.
That's fine too. Socialize, persuasion, whatever.
I have 3 dots and a few different things, but socialize seems like the most of what this is.
Yep.
I think my carouse applies here.
Yeah. It's not necessarily
the
drinking, but
right?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh no.
Nope.
Damn.
I will note,
Oh, no.
everybody, I do not get involved with Roll20 and the die roller. I don't touch anything.
Imagine rolling. What was I said the other day? Imagine rolling physical dice.
Dude, was that today?
That was,
It was
yeah.
like last night. I
Yeah,
guess.
that's true, yeah. Making jokes about using online rollers instead of your
Yeah.
own math rocks.
Click
For
clack.
your digital therapy avatars.
Yes.
Do I have a thing for this? Fast talking might apply. Let me see.
It's, I think, subterfuge rolls once per scene. You can reroll.
Oh yeah. Damn.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, again, there's the amusement and I think it's not even like a failure on Isabel's part. I think it's a failure on Jules's part to even pick up that no, she
Right.
really wants an invite. As you tease him
She's
about
not
it,
just teasing you.
yeah, just meow right over his head. Yeah,
How are these people immune to all of our charms?
not
I mean, to
Bob.
be fair, I'm not charming.
I mean, yeah, but I've also failed every time that I've tried to actually get something out of it. I've
We
failed.
haven't tried directly
So-
intimidating them yet.
You want to come threaten them? Yeah, maybe that'll work.
Yeah, I don't
Being
know.
nice and helpful and flirty doesn't.
Yeah, we're all trying to be cordial and get some info.
Yeah, so to like cap the scene,
Mhm.
I think there's this moment where he should actually say something, and then Rilla and Isabel just meet eyes and just this tragic look.
Yeah. Yeah, like Rilla reaches over and pats her hand and is like, "You keep trying," and at this point, like Rilla gets the request for the invite, but at this point, no, it's far more fun to watch you try and get it from Jules.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Cool. So we jump back a little bit over to I must say the graveyard, the mine, where the gang is basically putting up the safety lamps and lighting them and stuff like that, and it is definitely darker, but it's not dramatically darker. It's already a mine lit by oil lamps.
Yeah.
So like the moderate reduction is it's like, okay, yeah, this is noticeable, but it's not to the point where we're squinting to see things or anything like that.
It's already
yeah.
dark and we can adjust our eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. The lamp light itself is steady. Yeah, all right, fine.
Great.
The rest of the maroons, especially because I imagine Cloak kind of explains and gives people a heads up, hey, this is what we're doing and stuff like that. And
they've been ready.
There's right, yeah, and there's a little bit of like, what do we think? And for the most part, yeah, okay, we're already over this. Especially some of the more advanced, I guess, members of the cult.
Mhm.
They're like, yeah, this is whatever. This is not any new adversity. Not really. And so they just, yeah, okay, cool, thanks. But Mr. Enright and Mortimer kind of sit there and they talk about it and point at stuff, and then basically kind of look to you, and Mortimer steps up and basically says, Mr. Jean Paul, would you mind if we bring some of the I guess he'd probably say shift leaders from the other mine over to see how this works and looks?
I've already invited them here upon us installing the lamps and confirming that they are safe.
So I will take that as a yes. Mr. Enright, I'll be back. And Mortimer just kind of makes his way up out of the mine. Mr. Enright kind of looks over at you and says, I think this is good, don't you? And like there is a legitimate like look for approval of like hey, this I made a good decision here. And like there's definitely a moment because the Smith and apprentices are back Like they've already dropped stuff off. Your miners have started to work, and like there's this moment where it's surrounded by people in multiple directions, but like between the loudness of the mine and stuff like that, you actually have
cool.
one of the rare moments of privacy with Mr. Enright. He's like, "Hey, this is the right call, right?"
He says, Monsieur Bethune has acted consistent with how he stated he was going to act in this context, and you have reinforced my trust that you have our best interests at heart. So yes, I think this appears to be the right thing.
Good. That's what I thought. That's what. Yeah. Now, I have to source all that glass. But no, this will be good.
How many more will be installed?
He throws out a number that, for Cloak, for Jean Paul, you can quickly kind of guess he probably wants to replace every lamp that's down here with these.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Or at least the vast majority, because obviously as you dig deeper, they don't need to want to create a new one every time. But we'll have a wide coverage of this, and I think this will be the standard that we hold this mine to. Jean Paul, I think we can have one of the most successful and safe series of mines west of the Mississippi.
That would be great. As I mentioned to you shortly before, this place is important to us now. And this is our life. We once worked in duress. Although we were no longer formally slaves, we were only free in name. And being worked and oppressed by your own people, those who claim to have liberated you, is a novel hardship in and of itself. Here, we engage in honest labor, and we are alone with our bodies, the sound of our breath, presence of those around us, and the thoughts in our heads. And it has become a haven and an opportunity for all of us to work through the demons that we've tried to hide from. So keep this mind safe. That is really important to me.
Okay, so this I'm going to mention, this was already foreplanned before you made that comment. But as you were talking, there's a bit of a rumble through the mine. And then a bit of a crashing sound, and like everybody in the mine kind of stops working.
Yeah.
And like the sound crashes and rumbles, and you can hear it and feel it in the earth.
Yeah.
And then you hear shouts from up the tunnel back towards the entrance.
Okay.
And the oh my gosh, we'll pick one of the sisters.
Sanité or Missy J.
Sanité, since you brought her up first, shouts down, and it's not easy to hear, but she was outside.
Okay,
and you can hear and say, "The other mine, they have a collapse." And,
oh no!
Work.
By other mine, she
pauses.
means the mine that we don't work, right? Another one of the mines.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so then Cloak immediately looks at Enright and like holds up a hand and pauses the conversation, and then in French says to all the Maroons, "Out of the mine, we have to help those people. Stop what you're doing. Bring equipment."
and like your hand to pause, Mr. Enright, he's already moving up.
Okay, great. Cool. Perfect.
Yeah. It's at a elderly jog, but he is moving and, concern on his face. Down in the town, it doesn't take long before other people start to hear and see, because from your views, when you poke your heads out and stuff like that, you can see some dust and dirt coming up from the mine that is very unusual, and then sounds of distant shouting and stuff like that as people head up. Oh, and it is also first shift, Gisela. So
Yep.
that is probably also in there. Where, you don't know, which is worse than knowing whether or not, in my opinion. But yeah. So the mine has had a collapse. Cloak, I imagine Jean Paul leads the charge out. Yeah. I mean, some of the other miners are already out there. Sanite is there. I imagine her sister is. Well, no, we determined that the three of you are not actually shift leaders.
That's right.
Right. Okay. So the three of them are. The three of you kind of reconvene, quickly get a rundown, while Mr. Enright is basically like finding a lamp and heading into the other mine before some of the other miners grab him. Whoa, hang on. Just because it's done collapsing doesn't mean it's done collapsing. Yeah. And there's still dirt and soot and not soot, but dirt and particles and stuff like that are still kind of flowing out, and people are kind of staying clear, pulling up cloaks and tunics and stuff like that to cover their eyes and mouth, because that is stuff you do not want to breathe. As things are kind of settling, and there's kind of distant sounds from the tunnel echoing up of more dirt and debris collapsing. And compared to your tunnel, their tunnel is considerably deeper and branching and wide. That theirs is the one that has been worked on for a while, and they have you in this other section that's considerably less deep and newer, because you've been there for a few months. So at this point, like, the conversation is basically, does anybody know what portion collapsed, where it collapsed, what happened, was it the supports, did the all those various mining terms that I'm not familiar with, but yeah, they're trying to negotiate what's going on. And there are, as like stuff is settling, there are a couple miners who make their way up out of it, including Furnace, who's the shift leader, absolutely coated in dirt, and like they're coughing, and somebody calls for water, and they're getting doused in the face and getting some water to drink and stuff. And Furnace is cursing up a storm in Norwegian, and it takes a little bit to slow him down, but eventually comes to, okay, well, Tunnel 3 has collapsed, and actually, I'm going to pause there. For those of you who are in town, does anybody head up? I imagine Gisela is probably booking it.
Yeah.
It's funny. Cloak was going to send for Theo.
Interesting.
It's just a mining town. I assume the church has a bell.
Mm-hmm.
So it would probably be a procedure that if there's trouble with the mine, somebody starts hammering on the bell.
That's true. Thank you. Yeah, thank you for providing that. Yeah, so very quickly, the bell is definitely sounding. Yeah,
and more modern times there was a horn that would sound right.
That's right.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Yeah, I was thinking of bells for shift changes, but absolutely for alerting everybody to, actually, it's the PA system for the entire. Yeah, that's true. So yeah, definitely the big red alert, and the town is mobilizing.
Great.
As in ranges of activities. But yeah, was Theo also heading?
stern words of Loja to stay in the cart, and Catherine and Theo will both head.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you guys start making your way up. It's, it's a 20, 25 minute walk up from the town itself up there. But yeah, so you guys probably get there a little bit after Furnace has already started explaining what had happened. But yes, Tunnel 3 has collapsed. For those who are more in the know, that's the deep main tunnel for them. There's 3 in there with Mortimer. Don't know what the damage is. We could barely get out most of the, lamps are busted or coated over. So we'll see shortly. The rest of, and like as he's talking, there are more miners who are coming out who are like close. There are other miners he mentions that are in there that are already trying to see if they can, pull things out.
Okay.
But yeah.
Well, this is an opportunity for Cloak, Sanite, and Messy J to use their max in strength performance. So they are the strongest of the group. Cloak would send, or I guess he would have requested that some of the Maroons bring along some extra lighting, and then also some of the support poles in a cart that are used for reinforcing a mine as you're expanding it, so that they could, safeguard the area that they're using right before they try and clear out the rockfall.
Yep. Furnace is there right alongside you.
Cool.
And actually, go ahead and give me a... I know we talked about intimidation being a very direct and threat kind of thing, but I think this is one of the ones where if Jean Paul is going to take over and man this kind of thing, you're going to have to intimidate Furnace to basically stand down. You're emotional, you're too close to this, however you want to derive it, but yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah. So he'll do that. So Jean Paul will look him in the face, right? He's covered in soot and things like that, and saying, you almost died in a collapse, and you are no longer capable of leading the recovery. We will be doing this. Sit down. So, let's see. I'm going to roll Presence Intimidate.
Yep, sounds about right.
Cool.
Ash is throwing a big old reach on this. What does this say you're casting?
This is exceptional luck.
All right.
The reaches are instant, scale, duration, and what's the last one? Range.
Oh, sensory range. Sure.
Yeah, I'm trying to cast it on the people going in.
Cool. Depending on your scale, you could cast it on like the area nearby the collapse if you wanted, and get while people are in there, they are lucky. So,
okay, that's better. Yeah, I didn't know how many people I could catch with it. I was just trying to get like...
Yeah, throwback to Songbird dancing on the ceiling.
Yeah.
Right? If they're in the area, it affects them. And holy shit! Okay, 3 successes. Which actually, now that let me work that backwards. That's 13 dice and only 3 successes.
And I chose not to invoke the fact that he has the rote quality on Intimidate.
Noted. But yes, Furnace kind of like it's the stare down, and I'm sure there's a little bit. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Cloak is like, no. The rescue effort is mine. Back off. Yeah. Not so much as like you're a bad shift leader because the collapse happened.
Yeah, that's right. No, he's not blaming them for that. Who knows when a collapse happens? It's just like, now is not your time, right? We're doing this. We'll get him out.
Right. Cool. And then, Ash, the paradox before you do the...
I'm spending 2 mana.
Okay, so my 3 comes down to 2, down to just 1. Right, yes.
Jeez.
Whoa.
What? You only had 1 die, you got 2.
Damn.
Man. What even is my wisdom?
8 still.
8. Unless you were in the dark doing AOE.
Why does it say
know about
48?
Because you didn't do the spell roll. It's cool. You got 2 successes in there. So take
Okay.
2 resistant bashing wounds on top of your limping
Resistant lethal.
leg. Yeah.
Yep.
Which is true. Yeah. The walk up to the mine was also pretty
Unpleasant.
sucky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, the spell goes off. And like I said, do you, because in my mind, this was going to be something that you're going to cast in the area near the collapse. So do you basically join in the effort and like go down into the mine?
I mean, I don't think so is the thing, because like she's gonna let more capable people go do the digging through the mine rubble.
Gotcha. Okay.
I just wanted to sort of basically just good luck, bless on the ones running in to go do the work.
Okay, yeah. So in that case, because you took the advanced scale, you can pick 5.
Okay.
Which I basically the 5 biggest guys, right? More
Pretty
or less.
much,
Yeah. Okay. Which definitely is going to be Cloak and the
Close the
sisters.
sisters and
Sonic
2 others.
Misty. Cool. Awesome.
And then Theo, what is this?
I'm doing some off the cuff sort of stuff. Using the practice of knowing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get a feel for how much rock is between us and the next air pocket.
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Are you going into the mine?
Yes, I was going
Okay.
to go into the mine. I wouldn't even slow down. Like Catherine would stop here to help up top, and then because I usually do anyway, go right into the thick of shit. So
Cool.
Okay, and the boon I was giving was the 9 again on their mundane rolls, because I like digging through things to get to the people.
Absolutely. Cool. Which.
Thank you.
and just like make eye contact with Monsieur Broussard as I walk in, so he's aware I'm here. And
Mhm.
He smiles.
Isabel's right there with me.
Okay. All right. Now, the 9 again on what would effectively be
2
2
mundane rolls.
Mhm. Or picking 2 conditions to give them. Those don't get beats, but you could do stuff
Inspired. It's
inspired,
probably the best one.
or charmed is the
Charmed.
other really good one.
Charmed are
Which
great.
Yeah.
avoids, and so yeah, you can charm and inspire for the duration.
Sounds good. Let me read about these 2 again. I know Charmed is super good.
Inspired is succeed if you fail, and exceptional success if you get at least one.
We're gonna
Yeah,
be.
that's good.
if-
And it has advanced duration, so for the scene you have those.
yeah.
But yeah,
Like,
that's good. I'll
that
go
would
with that.
also be more useful than 9 again in this particular case because Cloak, Sanite, and Missy J have rote action with strength rolls. So
Okay. Yeah, mostly I was thinking of just NPC search and rescue folks.
Right.
oh, that makes sense.
Yep.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Charmed and Inspired is good.
Cool.
Protect from injury and also make sure that they can do really well. Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
So the Charmed you wouldn't be aware of, but the Inspired you feel empowered to
Mm,
charge forward.
wonderful.
I like that. And the best.
Craig.
So yeah, Craig, you're charging in too. I dig the spell. It's perfect knowing with matter. It was taking me a second. I was like, oh right, matter, duh. Because yeah. And so if you're heading in, actually, I think at that point it's just a paradox, which one way or another I have to roll 1 die. You let me know if it's going to be a chance die or not.
I'm just gonna roll it.
Cool. So yeah, go ahead and roll your wisdom.
Ooh.
I'll
I
take
think
it.
you have.
3-7.
Well, I think that was rolling the spell. Technically, Craig, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and roll your wisdom, because of the 1 paradox.
Yeah, no, that's. I just used a spell roll for it's 7. I got 7 dice, right?
Is your wisdom
Yeah,
not
eight
8?
dice.
8.
There should be 8.
Oh, I'm sorry, 8. So I'll roll 1 more.
Get 5. Or rather get 6.
Hey,
Yes.
Cool. Cool.
Doesn't do anything. But
And then, so exceptional success on your wisdom, unfortunately, doesn't do anything. But
Exceptional
so you take that
containment.
little one. Yeah. Good job. You tighten the jar real well.
Yes.
Somebody else is going to be pissed off later when they want the peanut butter. And then go ahead and roll your spell.
And that was 2. Wait,
It's
oh,
also
I
7,
scrolled
I
up.
believe.
Yeah. 2, 4, 7.
That's what had thrown me. I was like, oh yeah, well, we'll take the 4 for success.
3 successes.
Cool. So yeah, you get down there and like, you know, place your hands on the rocks and start pulling some stuff out and just kind of let the spell out. And it's a good bit of rock. There's before I throw out a random number, like, hang on, what's an actual reasonable amount? Yeah. So there's about 10 yards
Okay.
that's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a first down in football, which doesn't seem a lot until you realize just
It's
how far
30 feet of collapsed rock. That's a lot.
Can
Mhm.
I throw another one out quick?
One second, let me get to what Chris is throwing out
Sure.
real quick.
I am trying to more or less sniff out where the survivors are.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I kind of just threw a number penalty at the scale. You tell me whether that's actually right.
Are you going into the mine?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, you're definitely going to be able to get it.
Okay. Is
Yep.
that too much or?
So probably a little overkill because the once you get down into like the end of the tunnel where the collapse is,
Yeah.
like there's
Yeah, I as Chris have no idea what the scale of this mine is
Right.
in my head.
notably once you are down towards it, and you've got the other miners talking and stuff like that. The
Kind of over here enough.
right there's what is the term? It's the mine head. I can't remember. It's the end of the mine is like
Tail.
40 yards down.
Okay.
So there's a small area there.
Okay.
But yeah, you
Cool.
could probably drop
I'm gonna
that down
bump it
to
down to
minus 2.
Oh, -2? Cool.
Mhm.
All right. I'd love to have more dice to roll. That's fine.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Don't
Don't want to roll one die.
And
What are we doing
Yeah.
in the paradox?
containing it.
Sorry, but are you using mana or not?
No.
Okay.
See?
Nothing.
Why would I?
Yeah, I know. 2,
So it would be 5 dice.
5. Yep.
And I'm drawing on the mantra of being in the cave itself.
Mhm.
And then like a little like my canteen of water as a cup.
Oh yeah.
Or like as a like a viewing,
Mhm.
like looking into
Ooh,
the
yeah.
darkness in a canteen seems very fitting for this.
Yeah.
And that
That's
sort of like
awesome.
Thyrsis scrying mirror of like a bowl of naturally occurring water or whatever in a rock.
I like it.
That's great.
And while they're rolling that, Craig, what is the other spell you're going to sneak in real quick? Oh yeah, no problem.
It's basically the same idea, but now I want to get a sense for how stable things are now. Are things settled now, or is there more to come?
Okay, cool. I like that. So yeah, Isabel gets down to where the collapse is, and like already, you know, people are pulling rocks and they're looking, and it's very methodical, even though it's not smoky, but it is, you know, the dirt is, you know, kind of lingering in there. There's particles. It's rough, but moving stuff with like methodical purpose and stuff like that.
Right.
And 2 bodies are well back from the collapse.
Mhm.
There's another body beneath the rocks. You can't quite tell because you don't have the matter, but
They're alive.
They're alive. They
Okay.
are, and I'll probably give you so much as they are wounded, not dying, but probably not having a great time right now.
Right.
Oh yeah, you can get him out soon.
Yep. And then Theo, your initial like, okay, let me touch the rocks.
Yeah, so one hand was on the collapse and then steps over and puts a hand on the wall.
Right. Yeah, this is totally stable. There's no reason that a mine collapse would happen. Like, all this is super stable and fine.
All right. I'm going to try and call her Cloak or Monsieur Broussard in the chaos.
Well, I mean, now that you're down here, because, like, voice echoing, everybody talks carefully and quietly and stuff like that, because if you're yelling in a mine, you're going to irritate fucking everybody.
Yeah, I just want to make sure, like, no one else is hearing, or trying to anyway. If you want me to make a roll for that, that's fine.
No, I think you're just whispering, so at this point, it doesn't matter.
Okay. So collapse is only 10 yards, and the rest of the place looks stable.
Cloak exhales a sigh of relief and then looks at you with gratitude. Looks at actually both you and Isabel, because Isabel's close by, right? That's what you said, Chris? Did I hear that right? Or is she farther back?
Yeah, she's at the collapse. Like, essentially fucking smelling, like, in the Imago, it's like, I'm fucking hunting. Like, cool. Where are these people?
So he looks at both of you.
So wasn't it Mortimer?
Go ahead.
Mortimer? No, the 3 is including Mortimer. I apologize if there was any confusion.
All right, so Cloak turns to Theo and Isabel and says, I'm glad you're here. And then he turns to Sanité and Messi J and says, in French, let's get to work.
Sure. And yeah, if you want to go ahead and do strength plus athletics rolls.
I think it's strength stamina, right? Lift stuff, move things.
Yeah, we can do that too. Yeah,
cool.
I'm good with you. Yeah.
All right, so if we want to do this as a teamwork action to make it simple, then they could just do 2 rolls, and then I'll make the main roll.
Okay.
Would lodestone give them any benefit here at all?
It would keep dust and dirt from, like, settling on them and keep it out of their eyes.
Perfect. Yeah, so I'll do lodestone with a repel.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Cool. Drew, do you want to roll for Sanité and Messi J, or should I?
You can. Notably, I have no idea what their stats would be, and I'm cool with them being pretty close to Cloak's.
Excellent. And I'm just going to roll for them. All right.
Yeah, that's pretty simple.
So I'm going to roll Cloak's pool twice as teamwork, and then roll, Sanité, Messi J, and then add it into Cloak, the results of those successes. So they're rolling with Rote to take advantage of Inspired, and then they gain a +1 bonus from Strength Performance, and they gain +1 success if they get at least 1 success.
Yep.
Cool.
When it comes to manual labor, the cult is kind of badass.
Yeah, they're real good at it.
And that's, I'm trying to remember, is that the 3rd level?
It's the 4th level to get the +1 success. It's the 1st level to get a +1 bonus. It's the 2nd level to get Rote. And the 3rd level is you get to multiply your strength by 2 if you're moving something laterally, or by 5 if you're pulling something on wheels.
The level
in the
of
cult. Oh, okay. I think the 2nd level of the cult is Strength Performance 1. The 5th level of the cult is Strength Performance 4. So the only people in the cult who have maxed out Strength Performance are Sanité, Messi J, and Cloak.
Sure.
All right, cool. All right, so that's the first roll. We'll do it one more. All right, so they each give me 10 dice.
Well,
here's one more roll.
Not each. Total, they give you 10 dice.
Oh, sorry. That's what I meant to say. Yeah, so together, they give 10 dice. Yeah, I said twice as much as what's there, which isn't true at all. All right, so then Cloak is going to spend a willpower, just because who knows how we're going to do this, and he's trying to protect people. This is leaning into his virtue. So
Sure.
the total modifiers are going to be 16. 12 successes.
12 successes. All right. Cool. Sorry. Real quick before we do that, Craig, what was this other spell?
This was Lodestone.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead and...
Overreaching by 2.
Oh.
+1.
Mm-hmm. Woof.
I'm good.
Cool. How many bashing wounds are you
3
up to
bashing.
This would be 2. Oh no, because you got 2 successes, I got to take 2, right?
now? Yes.
Okay, so I'm at 3 bashing.
Okay, so we're not into health penalties or anything,
No.
but it's not it ain't feeling great.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you definitely feel the paradox kind of swelling, and
Oh, wait a minute.
and there's good stuff.
I got to roll 2 more dice and add 1 success for the 4th level of strength performance.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
I know we're probably about to cut it here in a second, but
Yep.
Are there any spirits nearby?
Gotcha. We'll talk about that probably next week.
Next time.
okay, so 12
And just put a
successes
pin
is
in
14.
that Cloak and Theo are having a conversation after things are over, too.
Cool.
Cool.
Makes sense to me.
So yes, we kind of pull away as the dust and dirt don't settle on anybody's face. I mean, people have already got stuff in their face
Right.
already on the way down, but now it just seems to stay out of their eyes, doesn't get caught in the sweat, stuff like that, as the rescue team, which is basically most of the Maroons and some other folks as well, who are in there. Isabel's moving some stuff as well.
Just kind of like this way.
Yeah, like
right that way.
and as the camera kind of pulls out of the mine, Gisela, there is a familiar voice kind of hitting you, and like hands wrapping around you and just sobbing as your father says, "It's my fault. I shouldn't have even been in there. This is all my fault. I'm telling you." And like just going off.
No.
Yeah, that's it.
Kohler. No, wait. Hang on. What? We call it German, but we figured out what the actual language was. Dang
I
it.
don't think we did.
Sorry, Riafio. I swear you told us, but we've already forgotten. But
It
yes.
was just a dialect. And,
Right. And just sobbing and like, oh yeah, dad's gonna be in a bad way for a while.
yeah.
At least it's not in the mine.
He is not in the
Mhm.
And that is where we'll leave it. As Isabel is kind of guiding stuff and then turning on her mage sight to be like, all right, who's in here? And trying to see into the darkness. The Maroons rushing to rescue a trapped person and 2 others who are not immediately running out of air, but it is a concern. Yeah, yes. And outside, with Gisela is the rest of the town who are readied up. There are people with stretchers. The barber is here to do some basic frontier surgery if necessary. Yep. Yeah. So join us next week. As always, if you have enjoyed your time here, and I hope you have, come by Discord. That is www.yeetinto.space. If you don't get that reference, go watch The Rookery at some point. No pressure. They're not related to this Chronicle, but we may make jokes and references. If you want to support us
They're also a
monetarily,
good-ass time.
it was a grand old time, and proof that after 160 episodes, I still don't know how incognito presence works. So yeah, just go learn more, folks. Just go learn more, play the game, learn more. It's okay.
Fine. It's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, and we'll use that as a key point. Hey, if you're thinking about running mage and you're not sure about it, because maybe I'll mess something up.
Just
Hi.
do it.
What they said. But if you want to support us monetarily, that's patreon.com/occultist anonymous or staylucky.club. See aforementioned, comment about if you don't get the reference. Link to Conka is in Twitch or in the YouTube comments below. And enjoy Onyx PathCon if you're watching on Twitch. And if you're on YouTube, go find the ton of great content that I'm sure is coming this weekend. That's it. Catch you guys next time.
Everybody.
See you later.